Welcome back, Focus Learners, to another explainer. Look, we've literally all been there. You're sitting at your desk, you're staring at that massive textbook, and honestly, just the thought of opening it feels completely impossible. Studying is tough. It takes energy, it takes focus, and yeah, it takes a whole lot of motivation. But what are we supposed to do when that motivation just completely ghosts us on the exact days we need it most?
Let me ask you something directly. Are you sitting around feeling just totally drained, waiting for that perfect mood to strike before you finally start? Like, just hoping you'll suddenly feel this overwhelming, magical urge to hit the books? Okay, let's dive into this, because waiting around for that perfect mood, it's a huge trap. And today, we're going to give you the exact framework to break right out of it.
To make this super easy, we're breaking it down into 6 bite-sized pieces today. The motivation myth, defining your reason, making studying smaller, the 25-minute method, active studying, and finally, rewarding your effort. All right, kicking things off with part 1, the motivation myth.
We really need to completely dismantle this idea that motivation is just something you passively wait around for. It's built by action, not magic. You don't get motivated and then act. No, you act, and that action actually generates the motivation. We call this the action-first framework. Motivation is literally a byproduct of just doing something small. It's not some magical spell that suddenly hits you out of nowhere.
Moving right along to step 2, define your reason. When you actually know your personal why, the whole game changes. Studying stops feeling like this awful punishment and starts feeling like real, tangible progress towards something you actually want. So what's your reason? Look, it doesn't have to be some grand, super dramatic life mission, but it absolutely has to be crystal clear. Maybe it's just passing that one specific exam that's been hanging over your head. Or hey, maybe it's bigger. Maybe you want to become a doctor, a pharmacist, an engineer. Or maybe you just want to build a better future. Or honestly, just reduce your daily stress levels. Whatever it is, you gotta own it. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what you need to do next. Formulate a super clear statement. Something like, I am studying because I want to pass my exam and reduce stress. Right now, I want you to grab a pen and write your specific reason down on a piece of paper and stick it somewhere you can't miss it. Throw it on your monitor, your bathroom mirror, the cover of your notebook. Keeping that goal front and center tells your brain exactly why you're putting in all this sweat when things get tough. Which brings us to part 3, make studying smaller. If you're feeling intimidated by these massive study sessions, this right here is your absolute secret weapon. Thinking about reading the whole chapter is just heavy. It's totally overwhelming, and it's exactly why we lose our drive. The task just feels way too big, creating this massive wall of cognitive friction. Instead, try shifting your focus to just 2 pages. You feel the psychological relief in that? Or just tell yourself you'll do 25 minutes. Basically, you want to shrink the task until it's literally too small to fail. So the crucial point is really understanding momentum. Momentum is the motivation that shows up after you begin. Because those microtasks are so much easier to start, your brain's resistance drops to almost 0. And once you start reading those 2 quick pages, your brain is suddenly way more willing to just keep going. You don't need to feel motivated before you start. You just need to trigger that momentum. Okay, let's see how this momentum builds into section 4, the 25-minute method. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it completely demystifies focus. When you look at the ratio of a 25-minute study sprint compared to a quick 5-minute break, you realize how incredibly manageable this actually is. I mean, anybody can power through 25 minutes of effort, right? So here's exactly how you execute it. Step 1, study for exactly 25 minutes with 0 distractions. That means the phone goes away, put it in another room if you have to. Close all those random tabs you have open. Just focus on one single topic. Then step 2, the second that timer goes off, you take a true 5-minute break. Stand up, stretch out, grab some water, walk around your room. This gives your brain the crucial rest it needs so you can keep going without totally burning out. All right, moving into part 5, study actively. Okay, so we've got the time structured, but now we got to talk about how you're actually engaging with the material. Have you ever read the same page like 3 times and realized you absorbed absolutely nothing? Yeah, that is the trap of passive studying. To keep that momentum going, you absolutely must shift to active studying. You need to be asking yourself questions, try explaining the topic out loud to your dog or just an empty room, jot down quick notes, test yourself. When you study actively, you actually feel a sense of visible progress. And as we established, progress creates motivation.
So I'm issuing a challenge right now. The next time you finish reading a concept, I want you to literally slam the book shut and ask yourself, can I explain this in my own words? If you can't, well, you haven't really learned it yet. But if you can, boom! You've just proven to yourself that you genuinely get it. And that little win is going to fuel your drive to keep pushing forward. And finally, Section 6, Reward Your Efforts. This is where we close the psychological loop. It teaches your brain that hard work actually pays off. Your brain literally craves dopamine rewards to function at its peak. So give it a fresh cup of coffee, a quick walk outside, exactly one episode of your favorite show, or even just some guilt-free scrolling time. But listen closely, because here is the absolute golden rule. These rewards must come after your study session, never before. You use them as the prize waiting at the finish line, which trains your brain that the effort is always worth the payoff. As we pull all these pieces together, just remember this. That perfect mood, it rarely ever shows up. Just start. Waiting around to feel completely ready or 100% motivated is a massive trap. You can absolutely study even when you feel resistant to it. Just remind yourself, it doesn't have to be some flawless, perfect study session. You just need to start small. I want you to make this your new mantra. Consistency is way more important than intensity. Seriously, studying for one focused hour every single day is infinitely better and honestly way healthier for your memory than trying to pull some exhausting, nightmare 10-hour cram session once a week. It's those tiny daily drops in the bucket that eventually fill the whole thing up. Which brings me to one final incredibly important question to leave you with. Will you build your motivation with one small action today? Remember, motivation is not magic. It's built by action, and you are entirely capable of doing this. Shrink the task down, set that timer for 25 minutes, and take that very first step right now. I promise your future self is going to thank you for it. Thanks for tuning into this explainer, and we'll catch you next time.